All right, motherfucks. It's time for part 2 of the roster grade. Roster report card, I should call it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm going to call it. That's what I'm going to call both of these things. Roster report card. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. It's like a roster review, except we're actually giving out grades. I didn't even intend for it to be grades. You know, my intention was to say, like, who did and didn't accomplish anything this year. But instead, I ended up doing a grading system as I was talking through the video. You know, it seems more appropriate because it's hard to say, like Cedric Alexander didn't do anything, for example, when he did more than Humberto Carrillo. You got to give him some credit, right? You know, he didn't do anything impressive. So just in case people are confused, a score that doesn't have a minimum of a B in it means a failed year, in my opinion. If you have a C or lower, right, a C plus or lower, it's a failed year. B minus is the bare minimum of having any kind of impact this year. That's what I think, you know. Everyone else is a failure as far as I'm concerned. Now we're on to the Smackdown roster, motherfuckers. All right, Aleister Black, E minus. Nobody should be surprised. Nobody should have any kind of doubts as to the fact that he would get an E minus in any kind of evaluation. Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, in my opinion, are D minus athletes. They're D minus wrestlers and they've had D minus years. Again, they remind me of the Hurt Business. They remind me of New Day. They remind me of every other team, right? Even Ziggler and Roode, I guess. They remind me of all these teams where it doesn't matter if Ziggler and Roode are the tag team champions. It doesn't matter if Hurt Business is tag team champions. Who cares? They're all going to feud with each other anyways, right? So it doesn't matter. Like there's no fundamental difference if, like, New Day, for example, and Hurt Business are feuding. It doesn't really matter who holds the title if all they do is wrestle each other. So I give Angelo Dawkins a D minus. Apollo Crews, all right. I gotta give props where props are due. I think this whole like African prince type of thing, right? I dig it. You know, it's a step in the right direction. It's better than being a guy whose gimmick is that his name is not Apollo Creed. You know, so I think it's a step in the right direction. He also won the Intercontinental title or was it the U.S. title? The U.S. title in what essentially was a pretty high-profile rivalry with the Hurt Business, right? It was all part of the Hurt Business's inception. He was instrumental in Bobby Lashley's push. So I got to give Apollo Crews, I can't say he's had a year of nothing. So he gets the B minus, motherfuckers. He gets the B minus. Big E, I don't know. I guess he gets a B minus because he's broken off from the New Day, which obviously we're holding him down. And he won the IC title. However, I expect more from Big E. So he's going to get a B. More than a B minus, but a B. Not an A, right? Bo Dallas, E minus. Cesaro, D minus. I mean, like, he hasn't accomplished anything. A lot of people are like thinking this is like going to be a breakthrough year, a breakout year for Cesaro. Why? Because he's going to wrestle and possibly beat Seth Rollins. Here's why it doesn't matter, right? Think about next WrestleMania, motherfucks. WrestleMania 38. Where do you think Cesaro will be on the card at WrestleMania 38? I don't think he'll be on it. That's what I think, motherfucks. Seth Rollins will be on it. It doesn't matter if Seth Rollins jobs to Cesaro. By next year, Seth Rollins will once again be ahead of the card. So this job will mean nothing, as has Cesaro's career. It's meant nothing. Cesaro obviously deserves better. We all know this. But from what we have before us, this is a D minus. Chad Gable, E minus. Daniel Bryan, I'm not compelled by any of Daniel Bryan's accomplishments. This guy, all he does is leave for a while, get a haircut, and come back. You know, I give Daniel Bryan, I can't give him a D because he's in the title picture still, this cocksucker. So I got to give him a C minus, but I'm not impressed. Dolph Ziggler, I mean, like, him and Bobby Roode are entertaining in their own right, I guess. You know, but I'm not really I don't really like Ziggler. I don't think he's done anything this year, really. Like, he's just there. He's the perfect example of he's just there wrestler. So I got to give him a D. Dominic Mysterio, A minus, motherfucks. A minus. Dominic Mysterio has had one of the best years out of all the wrestlers in WWE. Dominic Mysterio is not Rey Mysterio yet. He will probably never be as good as Rey Mysterio. I could see this guy just being a jobber. But nonetheless, Dominic Mysterio has become a real wrestler, which is crazy to think about. I never thought that when they introduced him that he would actually be out there having matches on SmackDown or on Raw almost every week. You know what I mean? So I give him props. Jey Uso. I think Jey Uso is like the good Uso. Jey Uso is going to get a respectable B. You know, I don't like him. I don't think he's believable as a single star. But the facts are what the facts are. This guy main evented several pay-per-views, and he has been instrumental in a variety of other matches. You know? So he gets props for that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you gotta give him some for that, right? Jimmy Uso, E+. It would be an E-, but he came out and he was involved in this feud, and just for that he gets a bump. And he's injured, can't really hold it against him. Kalisto, E-. Kane's not on Smackdown, as far as I know, motherfucks. So Kane, I'm not even gonna rate him. I mean, Kane will get an A+, obviously. Kevin Owens, E-. I hate to say it, E-. I'm not impressed by anything this guy does. I don't think this year has been a good year for him. He's the perpetual just there guy, right? He's like Mick Foley, but without any of the things that make Mick Foley great, like the charisma, the ability to cut promos, the entertainment factor, the goofy appearance. He's got none of those things. He just looks like a retard. I don't like him at all. King Corbin, E-. This is a little bit biased. I give King Corbin an E- because King Corbin has not lived up to his potential. This whole King gimmick has been detrimental to him, and he needs to get away from it immediately. Constable Corbin was retarded too, but King Corbin's even worse. All right, Mojo Rawley, E-. What can I say? Montez Ford, D-. Murphy, same thing as King Corbin, E-. He had some moments earlier in the year against Rollins and shit like that, but let's call it like it is. This guy is not going to live up to the hype that he had last year. You know, people thought he was going to be a star. It's not going to happen. Otis, I have to give him an E-. I have no choice. Otis gets an E- because Otis lost the Money in the Bank. Now, by itself, this would mean nothing, right? Because he also won the Money in the Bank. So he gets props for that. But the facts are what the facts are. He gets an E- because the reality was nobody had any faith in him, and neither do I. Rey Mysterio, I mean, this is a year where he's trying to help his son, obviously. So he hasn't been able to, like, win all these matches and do these crazy things. But he's going to get a B- because he has been part of a few memorable feuds. The whole feud with Seth Rollins was memorable as shit. The whole eye thing, the whole, like, Buddy Murphy and his daughter thing, Dominic Mysterio being, like, caned down. This is all under the back of Rey Mysterio. So B-, maybe even all the way up to A-. I'm not going to lie, but I'll give a B-. Robert Roode, unlike Ziggler, I consider this to be a step up for Robert Roode. You know, Bobby Roode came into the company like he was going to do some hot shit, and he didn't. So, I don't know. I give him a D, I guess, you know. Roman Reigns, A+. No doubt about it. Roman Reigns has had an A+ year. He came in, he did exactly what he should have done, which is completely bury Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt, become champion, right, and start dominating everybody, right? He also turned heel. The fact that he's heel, I think, it means nothing. He's just, the only reason he's heel is because people wouldn't like the fact that he would come in and beat everybody, right? They would boo him anyways, so they're like, fuck it, make him a heel, right? So at least pretend that people are booing him because he's a heel. They're booing him because he's just not over. Let's call it like it is. He's not over. Roman Reigns is not exciting as a wrestler, but he has had an A+ year. That's the truth, motherfuckers. Roman Reigns will never be a superstar. He never will be. It's as simple as that. Even if he goes on to Hollywood and makes millions, he will never be a memorable WWE superstar. No one's ever going to talk about him like, oh, Roman Reigns is like the best ever. No one's ever going to even entertain that because it's not true. You know? He's not over, and the facts are what the facts are. This guy can get cheers or even a polarized reaction. This guy gets heavily booed because, and you know what, justifiably so in many ways, because he does have 2 moves, right? He has less moves than Cena, and he just no-sells everything. So people don't really like him. But as a heel, you can do these things, cheat a little bit, and get like some boost, and people will start liking you for some reason. It's very strange. Like, nothing's really changed. He's just, like, now he's mean, basically. It's the same guy. He's just mean now. And he has 1 more move. And people pretend that he's, like, the greatest. I like Roman Reigns because at least he looks like a wrestler, and he's had a good year. But, I mean, he's not over, and he never will be, in my opinion. Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn has had a good year. I got to give props where props are due. So I give him, I don't want to give him a B- because I don't think it's been that good of a year. But I'll give him a C. I'll give him a C. Nakamura, E-. Just when Nakamura starts building some momentum, he starts losing the momentum again. So who cares? Wesley Blake, I thought he was fired. I don't care. E-. Female wrestlers, Bayley. Bayley's going to get a B. She had a long-ass title reign, and she was relevant for a while. Bianca Belair is also going to get a B. She won the Rumble. Probably will win the championship. But I do feel like Bianca Belair has not lived up to her hype. Her hype has been on the levels of Becky Lynch, and she is not living up to it. She's just not very entertaining. Saying she's the EST of everything and twirling her fake hair is not enough. You got to actually do some fun shit. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing fun about Bianca Belair. She's a great athlete. I like her. You know, she's entertaining. But her stupid ass hair, which is obviously fake, no one would ever have hair that long, right? Needs to go. It's just silly. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. Billie Kay, E-, not just for this year, but for her entire career. Carmella has worked her way up. She gets a C. Nothing great, but she gets a C. Okay, Chelsea Green, I don't know who that is, E-. Liv Morgan, E-. Natalya, E-. Natalya is a $1 talent, motherfuckers, like the meme said. Ruby Riott, E-. I don't know why she's even in this company. Sasha Banks, A-. I mean, I gotta say it like it is. She's become champion, and it feels like she's made the title mean something. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, scratch that. Actually, the title means absolutely nothing. But she at least is a champion that when she goes to WrestleMania, you can be like, okay, that's an established star. So not an A-, that's a little too generous. B- we're gonna give her. Sonya Deville, E-. Tamina, like, again, this is she's like Humberto Carrillo. If I could give a score lower than an E-, I would. But E- is what we're stuck with. Let's see here. NXT. Let's do NXT in this video since this video is already way shorter than the other one because the roster's smaller. NXT. Adam Cole. I mean, I got to give him a B-. You know, only because he's turned on the Undisputed Era. And now I'm curious to see what's going to happen with Adam Cole. I mean, obviously he's going to wrestle what's his face? Kyle O'Reilly. But I'm curious to see what his future holds. Alexander Wolf, E-. Arturo Ruas, E-. Austin Theory, D-. I mean, I guess he's made himself kind of relevant. Boa, the gimmick had some potential, but this is an E-, obviously. Bobby Fish, E-. Brendan Vink, E-. Who the fuck are some of these people? I haven't seen Brendan Vink in years. Bronson Reed, this guy gets an E-. I'm sorry, he's not good. Cameron Grimes, motherfuckers. Cameron Grimes, B+. Easily B+. If he was around more this year, he would have gotten an A, I think. Chase Parker. Who the fuck is Chase Parker? I think he's one of the Everrise guys. Let's click on his name. I feel like I've clicked on his name before. Yeah, Everrise. I like these guys. I do, but E- is the correct answer. Danny Burch. Danny Burch is a solid B. A solid B this year. Him and Oni Lorcan have had a great year. They've pushed themselves to the limit, and they've become tag team champions while also aligning themselves with Pat McAfee. Desmond Troy. Who the fuck is Desmond Troy? E-. Dexter Lumis. Dexter Lumis, I hate to say it, he's going to get a C+. I love Dexter Lumis, but he hasn't done anything. You know what? No, I'm going to give him a B- because it's clear that it's going to be him versus Gargano at NXT WrestleMania, right? So, and I think he's going to win. So, he gets props for that. He's worked his way up into a title match at, the WrestleMania of NXT, which I think is pretty impressive if you think about it. Drake Maverick. Drake Maverick, he was fired. He was hired. He had a memorable storyline where he almost won the Cruiserweight title. His tag team with Killian Dane is kind of boring, but it is memorable as well. So I got to give him a B-. I got to give Drake Maverick props. Fabian Aichner. Fabian Aichner, in my opinion, aside from Walter, who's just badass because he's big and he looks like a guy that would kick your ass while also having a baby face, Fabian Aichner is the second best guy in that team. I like Marcel Bartel as well, but Fabian Aichner is athletic. He's strong looking. You know, he looks like a man. I like him. But he hasn't really done anything. Now, this is also part because they're in NXT UK and they kind of transition between NXT UK and NXT. So, but he did come and become tag team champion, so I got to give him a B-. You know, everything considered, including COVID, motherfuckers. Fandango, D-. I mean, they became tag team champions, but then they lost the titles again. It didn't feel special. I don't care. Finn Balor. Okay, I got to give props where props are due. Finn Balor, even though he's had the same match with every single person he's wrestled, Finn Balor did come to NXT in an attempt to give some prestige to the NXT title. And I respect that, all right? I respect that. So Finn Balor is going to get a B+. This year, Finn Balor has had a good year in terms of exposing himself. If he was on Raw, he would be exposed kind of like how Jeff Hardy is. So this was a better choice to bring him to NXT. Way better. If in the future they want to bring Finn Balor to WWE, he could come back at this point fresh and as a threat because he was NXT champion for so long. You know, Isaiah Swerve Scott. I don't hate this guy. You know, this guy, even though he has jobber written all over him, he has the cocky guy gimmick, which is jobber central. You know, I like him. I like the kid. However, his year is an E+. He hasn't done anything memorable. Jake Atlas, E-. James Drake. James Drake and the other guy are good. but he hasn't done much. So C- it is. Joaquin Wilde, C-. I don't want to give this guy an E because he's there, he wrestles, he's part of a team. So actually C+. C+ for Joaquin Wilde. Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano obviously is having a good year. He's the leader of a faction. He's NXT champ, NXT US champ, North American champ. Now, all these things are not entertaining. I think he still sucks. I think he's a waste of time. But judging it as a report card, he's had a good year. You know what I mean? He's had a good year. So he's going to get a B+. I got to say it like it is. Karrion Kross. All right. It's no secret that I hate this motherfucker. I think he's shit. I don't think he's good. I don't think he's talented. I don't think he has charisma. I don't think he's good in the ring. I don't think there's anything about him that's entertaining at all, quite frankly, right? Maybe he's a nice guy, and maybe he has the promo skills if given the chance. But thus far, all I've seen him do is make a few time puns and talk about TikTok. Your time is up. Scarlett Bordeaux adds absolutely nothing to this stale-ass character. The fact that she's with him means nothing. She doesn't do anything. All she does is put hourglasses in the ring. She's a complete waste of money, a complete waste of time. However, motherfucks, I will give props where props are due. Number one, his feud with Phantom Escobar, whatever the fuck his name is. Phantom Escobar, motherfucks. His feud with him was entertaining, you know? Because it was like a big guy stalking a little guy, and the little guy's like a heel too. It was interesting. It was an interesting dynamic. He also did become NXT champion. He also is going to fight for the NXT title, it looks like, at NXT WrestleMania. So, I got to give this guy, I mean, he was injured for most of the year, so that's going to take him out of the A contention. But I got to give him a solid B. You know, he's had a good run in NXT so far. You know, now, he has had a good run because he's been booked that way. Everyone can be booked that way. If they wanted to do that, they could give it to Raul Mendoza too. Book him the same exact way, no one would care, right? Karrion Kross doesn't have good moves, doesn't have anything entertaining about him. He sucks, I don't like him. However, B+, somewhere around there. Killian Dane. Killian Dane is an E-. He has failed to live up to expectations. He sucks. Kona Reeves, I think this guy actually has some potential. You know, but as of now, E-. Kushida has done good. Kushida, like, he's having the typical run of a Japanese wrestler on NXT, which means not much, but it does mean something. The fact is what the fact is. Kushida does win most of his matches, and therefore Kushida is going to get a B this year. Kyle O'Reilly obviously has come into his own. He is transitioning to a single star. He will never become a real single star, but the facts are what the facts are. This benefits him substantially. So Kyle O'Reilly is going to get a B-. LA Knight. It's inappropriate to judge LA Knight because he's only been here for like a week and a half. Now, in this week and a half, I'd give him a solid B. But it's inappropriate to judge him. He hasn't done anything yet, you know? But let's go with B. Leon Ruff. Leon Ruff has had a fun year. You know, C+, I guess. Marcel Bartel, same score as Fabian Eichner, B-. I think I gave him. Once again, Matt Martel. Who the hell is Matt Martel? We had Marcel Bartel, now we have Matt Martel. I think he must be the other guy from Everrise. That's the only explanation. Yeah, he is. All right, and again, E-, D-, who cares? Nash Carter and Wes Lee, even though Wes Lee has one of the worst names ever. Wes Lee? Are you kidding me? Why don't you call him John Son? You know what I'm saying? So, Nash Carter and Wes Lee together, they've obviously had a great run thus far. But this run has been like a run of 5-6 matches, you know? I give them props, though. Based on only that, they get an A. They get it, and they have to get an A. They've won like all their matches, you know? And they're entertaining. They're fun to watch. But realistically, it's kind of like yesterday's video, or maybe earlier today's video, depending on when I uploaded, cucks. It's kind of like with Omos, where Omos, you know, might get a certain score of, let's say, C, whatever the fuck I gave him this year. But next year, he's probably going to be an E-. Same thing. Same thing with MSK. Next year, they might be an E-, you know? So, too early to say. Oni Lorcan, B-. He's done well. Pete Dunne, E-. That's right, E-. Him joining the faction with Pat McAfee and all these things means absolutely nothing, right? It means nothing. This was supposed to be Ridge Holland's thing. Ridge Holland was supposed to be where fucking Pete Dunne is now, right? Ridge Holland got injured, and now it's Pete Dunne. Now, all I got to say about this is this. Pete Dunne, even though he's come back as this badass guy, he's like lost every match of value, right? He's like Mr. Kennedy. Remember Mr. Kennedy in WWE? Not in TNA. In TNA he was better. But in WWE, Mr. Kennedy would he was like an upper mid-carder basically. He would lose the title match, and then the next morning he would beat up like Rob Conway or something, and he'd pretend that he was like reestablished. So, same thing with Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne loses to Finn Balor, then he beats some jobber on NXT, and then he's like, I'm the best technical wrestler. Well, someone beat your ass last week, so shut the fuck up, yeah? Raul Mendoza. Raul Mendoza, I gotta give him the same score as Joaquin Wilde just because, like, he's the same shit. But I like Raul Mendoza. I've said many times that out of all of these generic Latino wrestlers that don't wear masks that WWE has signed recently, I believe personally that Raul Mendoza is the best one out of all of them. And I believe he's better than Alberto Carrillo. He's better than all these guys. The problem is that some of these guys are just more aesthetically appealing than Raul Mendoza. Raul Mendoza is a little chubby. You know, I think he's more athletic, but he's a little chubby. There's just some weight, he might actually get there. Ridge Holland. Ridge Holland was awesome. I like Ridge Holland. I like this type of wrestler. You know what I'm saying? First of all, the name Ridge is badass, all right? So there you go. He was a big, strong guy, and I liked him a lot. You know, and he had there was an implicit gimmick of just like a tough Englishman or whatever the fuck he is, right? Irishman, I don't even know. Rinku from In the Share, E-, obviously. Roderick Strong. I mean, I have to give him an E-. I really do, because Roderick Strong, I mean, for a while he was NXT, North American champion, which was cool. I mean, like, good for him. But past that, he hasn't done anything of value. And the facts are what the facts are. The feud in Undisputed Era is Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. Everyone else is outside of this purview, right? Even if Roderick Strong is injected into this match, making it, let's say, a triple threat, it doesn't matter. He's just going to be there probably to take the pin, you know? So Roderick Strong gets an E-. Like, him and Bobby Fish have done nothing special for Undisputed Era this year. That's why they have to get the same score, E-. Like, here's what I'm saying. If they added me or Sonic the Hedgehog, not the character, but my fan, Sonic the Hedgehog, motherfucker, if they added him to Undisputed Era, he would also do the same thing as fucking Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong if he did nothing. You know? So there you go, motherfucks. Roderick Strong, E-. Santos Escobar. I see good things here. Santos Escobar, I have to give him an A. He was involved in a memorable debut, right? He was involved in a memorable feud with Rockstar Spud, which wasn't really because of him, but he was involved in the feud. He was this happy-go-lucky face, and he actually transformed himself into a man with character when he took off his mask and he just became Santos Escobar, which, number one, is a badass name. He looks like a badass. Then he has Legado del Fantasma with him. Then he feuds with Karrion Kross in one of the most meaningful and interesting feuds of the year thus far. And then he becomes also a Cruiserweight champion, and he will be in obviously a high-profile match at NXT WrestleMania against Finn Balor, number 2, the other Cruiserweight champion. I believe this should be a match that closes one of the nights. You know, you have the U.S. title, or whatever, the North American title, and then this match. Or you have this match and the women's title maybe, and then U.S. title and the other one in the second night. I don't know. Depends on how you look at it. But Santos Escobar, good year. Sorav. Oh my God. How is this guy even here? In the Share guy, E-. Timothy Thatcher. Timothy Thatcher is going to get he's going to get a D. He's going to get a D, and here's why. Timothy Thatcher, I like him, but he hasn't done anything of value. Like him beating Matt Riddle in the, Cage of Death match or whatever, it means nothing. Who cares? Matt Riddle just forgot about it and went on to become U.S. champion. This guy's still in there doing cage matches with other people. So D. Tino Sabatelli, a classic case of E-. Tommaso Ciampa, D- or E+. Actually, you know what? E+ it is. He gets an E+ and not an E- just because of the fact that he is now going to be in a program against Imperium, which is awesome. You know what I'm saying? That's it, though. That's it, motherfucks. That's the only thing that brings him from an E- to an E+, or it should probably be an E. He has done absolutely nothing this year except for lose to Timothy Thatcher and run like a bitch when Karrion Kross beat him. Karrion Kross beat him and he left. And then since then he hasn't had a character. So go fuck yourself. Tyler Rust. Tyler Rust, apparently his real name is Russ Taylor. How stupid is that shit? E-. Velveteen Dream. This year, Velveteen Dream gets an E-. You know, Velveteen Dream, kid had everything, man. Those accusations, though. Wesley, A. I gotta give him an A. Zach Gibson, he needs to be rated a little bit higher than the other one. Whatever, the James guy from the team, the one with hair. Because he is the mouthpiece and he's entertaining. So I gotta give Zach Gibson a B. Female wrestlers, motherfucks. Aaliyah, E-. I actually like this girl, you know, but E-. Candice LeRae sucks. E-. Cora Jade, don't know who that is. E-. Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai has been entertaining. C+. Ember Moon, E-. I don't care if she wins every title in the company, she's an E-. Gigi Dolan, E-. I don't know who she is. Indy Hartwell, E-. soon to be released. Io Shirai, A+. We got to give props where props are due. Io Shirai is clearly the best wrestler in NXT as far as the women go. And she's been champion for a long time. And she's one of the few cases of a long-reigning champion where I can say to myself, she deserves it. Like, for example, you have to compare her to people that are like her. Former NXT champions. Rhea Ripley was a good champion because Rhea Ripley looks different. She's an interesting character just based on her appearance. But for example, if you compare Io Shirai to Asuka, I think Io Shirai is better than Asuka because she's more attractive and does better moves. So there you go, motherfucks. Io Shirai, A+. Jessie Kamea, E-. Casey Catanzaro, I like Casey Catanzaro very much. I think she could be a great wrestler. She's small, but she's very attractive. So I would give her a better score next year. This year she hasn't done anything. So E-. We don't fuck around here, motherfucks. Kaden Carter, E-. Marina Shafir, oh my God. Like, let me tell you this, motherfucks. Side rant time, right? Women's sports, bitch boys. Women's sports. Here's the problem with women's sports. You know, I obviously believe that women should be allowed to compete as much as they want, and they should get paid commensurate to the amount of viewership they bring in. The problem with women's sports, especially women's combat sports, is that it is so easy to get into this shit. You can be Marina Shafir. I have no doubt in my mind that if someone said, death match, fight to the death, The Hater versus Marina Shafir, I would break her neck in about 15 seconds. I have no doubt. You know what I'm saying? This woman is not a real fighter. This woman is not a real MMA specialist, right? At least Shayna Baszler kind of looks the part. I don't think Shayna Baszler is that tough either. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't this world champion. Like, we saw what happened with Ronda Rousey, got her ass beat. You know, this, like, Ronda Rousey's striking is like, it's like a 0 out of 10 almost. You know, the facts are what the facts are. In women's combat sports, you can be a girl, you can go have like 5 fights, and then you automatically get the brand. Like, when I say 5 fights, you can have 5 fights and win like one of them. And you get the brand of MMA fighter, right? And then Marina Shafir can leverage that into a WWE career, where she is now an MMA fighter. No, she fucking isn't. She's had 5 fights. She's had 5 fights, motherfucks. 5 fights, and she's lost like, I think all of them, or like 4 of them. You know? Jessamine Duke, same shit, right? It takes nothing. Nothing. If you're a female and you want to be an MMA artist, MMA fighter, takes nothing. Go train at the gym for 6 weeks, right? Sign up for a tournament, get your ass beat by someone who's trained for 7 weeks, and then show up, pretend that you're like this tough broad. All you did was train for 6 weeks and lose. You know how long it takes to train like a real boxer? You know how long it takes, motherfuckers? Even female boxing. Like, you have people like Clarissa Shields, like breaking necks, breaking records. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have real athletes, but an MMA, women's MMA is just complete shit. Like, there isn't one. That's why Amanda Nunes, motherfucks. That's why Amanda Nunes is like seen as a super dominant champion, because she's actually good. She's like the only one that's good. Everyone else is super inferior to her. And it looks like she's like this amazing athlete. She's not an amazing athlete. Absolutely not. You can look at Amanda Nunes and be like, this is not an amazing athlete. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely not. Like on the Joe Rogan podcast, they had Clarissa Shields. Clarissa Shields was like, people saying that Amanda Nunes can beat me in boxing. She's like, I've won 2 Olympic gold medals and like 3 world championships. She has absolutely 0 chance. And I was like, yeah, no shit. You know, I honestly believe that even in a fight, Clarissa Shields would have an advantage over Amanda Nunes. You know what I mean? She needs to train for MMA to go and kick her ass. But the facts are what the facts are. the levels of athleticism are superior. Clarissa Shields is a better athlete, right? Women's MMA has no great athletes. There hasn't been one great athlete in women's MMA, right? They all get exposed. Amanda Nunes is the only exception. They all get exposed almost immediately. Like Ronda Rousey had like what? She had like 20 fights and lost 2 of them or some shit like that. Like she wasn't this like, they presented her as if she was Mayweather. No, she was a jobber. She had like 10 fights and like 9 of the fights were with like complete nobodies. People that tried to fight once and then quit, you know? So there you have motherfuckers. That's my side ran up in this bitch, you know? And that's why I hate Marina Shafir. I think she's just like, she's like tricking WB. Laughing all the way to the bank, motherfucks. So 0, E-. Mercedes Martinez, E-. Raquel Gonzalez, A+. Raquel Gonzalez is obviously an A+ year. Not only did she and Dakota Kai win the titles, but she has elevated Dakota Kai substantially, right? The reason why they won the tag team titles was because Raquel Gonzalez. It has nothing to do with Dakota Kai. You could replace Dakota Kai with anybody, including Marina Shafir, and they would win the tag team titles. Raquel Gonzalez is awesome for one reason and one reason only. She's a big, strong girl that was presented as a big, strong girl, but has elevated herself beyond that. You know, she was introduced the same way that Omos was introduced. And then look at the career that she's had, or the year that she's had, which is the year that Omos has had, or the year that Bam Neely had when he debuted, or the year when Gene Snitsky had when he debuted, right? She has had a much better year than all these motherfucks. She has been instrumental in all the matches she's been in, right? She is clearly being positioned as a big deal, and I like her. Santana Garrett, E-. Shotzi Blackheart, I don't give a fuck how many times NXT tells me that Shotzi Blackheart is the breakout star of the year. I don't agree. I think she's shit. D-. She hasn't done anything. She hasn't done anything useful this year except for win that bullshit award. Toni Storm, I've never seen her wrestle, to be honest, so I'm going to say E-. I don't even know she's in NXT. She's in NXT UK. I don't watch that shit. Vanessa Bourne, E-. Xia Li, C-. I got to give Xia Li a C- because she's trying to reinvent herself. It's clearly failing. Next year, I see an E- in Xia Li's future if she's not released. Zoe Stark, inconclusive. Let's give her a B. Fuck it. We don't know her, you know? Other honor personnel, no one cares. NXT UK, let's be real. I don't know any of these motherfucks. So they all get E- except for Ilya Dragunov, the Coffee Brothers, Wolfgang, and obviously Walter. Walter, I don't know what to say about this guy. Like, it's like NXT UK wasn't around. So there's no, you know what I mean? There's no, like, reason to give this guy an A. He honestly deserves an E-. But he is champion. And I'm pretty sure now he's the longest reigning UK champion of all time. But the UK title needs to be involved. Like, for example, the fact that you have this big NXT pay-per-view, NXT UK needs to be represented there. Like, Walter should defend his title in a big-time match. Maybe that should be the main event, motherfucks, of one of the NXTs. That's what I got to say about that. With that being said, that's it for this year's and the first ever Hater Wrestler Report Card, motherfucks. Or roster report card, wrestler report card. Who gives a shit? Alright, motherfucks, I'll talk to you guys later. Bitches!